Start recording. All right, welcome everybody. We're going to get going now. Great. So welcome yogis, delighted to have you here with me. I'm Jo, and this is our 60-minute flow class. So we were just talking, a couple of us have been out in the garden and doing some work. So what I'm finding is a lot of shoulders work. My shoulders are tight, and I know somebody was mentioning wrists and things. So we're going to do a little bit of work forearms, shoulders, really open up through the shoulders. And today we're going to, what that means is we're going to work on some binds. So if you have shoulder issues, like everything we do in yoga, just take what works for you and leave the rest. And I'll give you a couple of options later on when we do need to get into some really big shoulder things. So you don't have to always do what I'm cueing. All right, so we're gonna get started in child's pose. If you took my class last week, it's gonna be a lot of similar moves, but of course in different sequencing, and again with that focus on opening up through the heart, through the shoulders, the lats, and let's get going. So we're gonna start again in child's pose. So go ahead, big toes together, knees apart, bring your forehead down to the mat, down to a block, whatever, and just start to release. And just as last week, I'm not going to come into child's pose so I can talk to you rather than into the mat so you can hopefully hear me better. So as you come into your child's pose, I just want you to release, especially those shoulders. As I said, we're going to work on shoulders, so allow the shoulders to melt into the mat. Forehead sinks heavily down. Maybe press gently into the hands to sink the hips just a little bit deeper into the knees, into the heels, and just come into the breath. Begin to find your space, find your internal calmness, devoting yourself to the next 60 minutes. You know the drill, just gradually lengthen those inhales and deepen those exhales. Always giving us this couple of moments to settle the mind as we move into our practice, as we move into some nice gentle movements, waking up the body, preparing the shoulders, and then coming into some binds that hopefully feel good, letting us tap into some of that upper back area that can get so tense when we feel either stressed or when we just do a little bit too much because we have time. You just come into your 3 nice long cleansing breaths, taking that breath in through the nose, feeling the expansion of the ribs in all 4 directions, and then exhale, open mouth, let it go. Again, in through the nose, open mouth, side out. And one more breath in, breath out. And then start to find your breath, either your Ujjayi breath in and out through the nose, making an ocean-like sound, or any other breath that works for you. Matching inhale length to exhale length. Then start to walk the hands forward, letting the elbows come off of the mat. And I want you to keep your gaze forward, either straight into the mat or forward. And we're going to come into a twist, thread the needle, but it's a little bit different than we normally do. You're going to take the right hand, slide it under the chest over to the left, but instead of coming on your right ear, you're going to keep the gaze forward and just release down. Release the forehead or the chin to the mat. And what I want you to do is think about lowering that right shoulder to the mat. And once you have that starting to settle in, then start to lower that left shoulder towards the mat. So you should feel a deep stretch through the right shoulder. And if that's uncomfortable for you, then just come onto your right ear the way we would normally take a twist. All right, inhale, unwind, walk both hands forward, find that stretch, inching the hands forward just a little bit more, elbows up. And then the gaze forward or straight down, and take the left hand under the chest over to the right. Releasing the forehead down to the mat or the gaze forward so the chin is to the mat, depending on what your flexibility is like. And then I want you to release that left shoulder down towards the mat. And then start melting the right shoulder down. So just getting right into those shoulders right now. As I said, we'll be using those, so this is a nice opening for us. And then come back through center. And let's come into our table and come right into our puppy pose. So keeping the hips stacked over the knees, walk the hands forward. So you drop your chest or your chin or your forehead to the mat or a block. So for me, it's the forehead. And I want again to have you just allow the shoulders to melt towards the mat. One more breath here. And then walk back up into your table pose. So from table, let's come into just some hip circles, taking 2 or 3 in one direction and then 2 or 3 in the other direction. Finding stillness. And we'll come into our cat-cows, right? So inhale to cow, dropping the belly, gaze up to the sky. And then rounding into a cat, gaze to the belly, pressing through the shoulder, the hands rounding through the shoulders. Let's take a couple of these on your own. And you can continue this way, or you can do this little variation for the core. Tuck the toes, lift the knees off the mat. Come into your cat this way. And then release. Coming into a cow, bringing the toes, the heels to your butt. Maybe a few more of those. Tuck the toes, cover the knees, come into your cat. Release the knees, come into your cow, heart forward, heels up. And then maybe one more time if you're just getting the hang of it now. Sometimes that happens to me. I just get the hang of it and we're done. There we go. And release into your cat. All right, extend the right leg long behind you. We're going to keep both hands to the mat today. And just go ahead and bring that knee to the nose. Rounding through the back. And extend. 2 more times like that. Knee to nose. And extend. 1 more time, knee to nose. All right, so something new for me. Just bring that foot all the way forward and cross the right knee in front of the left. So you're in kind of like this cow face legs. Right. And then we're going to come into cat-cow again with this cross. So just come into your cow. A lot of cat-cows here. Different variations. Just to change it up. 1 more. All right, let's tuck those toes, keep the legs crossed, and press into a crossed foot downward facing dog. All right, so I want you to keep the left leg nice and long, reaching that heel towards the mat, and bend the front leg, the right leg. So you're getting a hamstring stretch through the left foot, left leg. And then slowly straighten that front leg any amount that feels good for you. and lift up onto both toes and lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more time, lift. And lower. Unwind, come into your downward facing dog, shuffle the feet, and extend the right leg up to the sky. Gaze between the hands, step it through, find your low lunge, drop the back knee, top of the foot, inhale, arms up to the sky. Interlace the fingers, index finger extending to the sky. Come into your lateral stretch over to the right. Inhale up through center and over to the left. Up through center. Frame the foot, let's just straighten that front leg and just flow back and forth. Any amount, maybe taking the knee in front of the heel a little bit to feel the opening through the hip flexor. And we're going to frame the foot with the hands, tuck the back toe, power up, come into your plank. Shift forward, exhale, drop the knees. Untuck the toes, hover the down, chest down to the mat. Inhale up to your baby cobra or cobra. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Gaze up to the front, walk, take a gentle walk to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms and gaze up to the sky. And then interlace the fingers again, just as we did before. And take your lateral side stretch over to the right. Inhale up and over to the left. Inhale up, unbind the hands and take them behind the hips. Hold the fists towards the heels, hard up. Exhale down into your fold. Release the hands. Plant the hands down to the mat, step back into a plank, and drop into table. We'll take the other side. Extend the left leg long, and 3 times knee to nose. In, extend, exhale, knee to nose, extend, and then this time, remember, just take that knee all the way forward and walk it all the way around so your left knee is in front. Cow face, and come into your cat-cows here. Just cross knee. I promise, last set of cat-cows here. All right, let's tuck those toes and come into that cross ankle, downward facing dog. So you want to bend into the left knee. Straighten that right leg, heel towards the mat, feel the right hamstrings turn on. And then slowly straighten or straightish that front leg, lift up onto the toes and lower the heels. Just lift and lower any amount that feels good. And then uncross, find your downward facing dog. Left leg up to the sky. Step it through between the hands, low lunge. Drop the back knee, top of the foot, inhale, arms up to the sky. This time we're going to grab opposite elbows with your right elbow in front. And come into your lateral side stretch, reach over to the left. Up through center and over to the right. Inhale, arms up. Frame the foot, straighten and find your flow here. Maybe you take it static and you just stay. Maybe you flow back and forth. Maybe you go taking that knee forward, even for a little bit more to get into that right hip flexor. All right, we're gonna frame the foot, power up the back leg, step into your plank, take your half chaturanga or full if you'd rather. Shift forward, drop the knees. Lower your chest down to the mat. Inhale up to your cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Gaze to the front of the mat. Step to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Grab opposite elbows, this time left elbow in front. Find the lateral side stretch over to the left. Inhale up and over to the right. Inhale up, keep a hold of the elbows, and exhale, just come all the way down into your forward fold and release into your forward fold. Shake your head yes, shake your head no, hold on to those elbows, rock back and forth. Release into the shoulders. Lift the belly just a little more, gaze up to the belly button, find that extra length through the spine. And then release hands down to the mat. Let's step back into a plank and shift forward. Exhale, lower down all the way to the belly, taking your time. And once you get here, come into a wide cobra. So take your hands wider than your mat at the top of the mat. Fingertips tented and lift up. And as you lower, bring your gaze to the right. Inhale up. Lower down, gaze to the left. Inhale up. Exhale down to the belly, hands down by the ribs. And let's press up into our downward facing dog. All right. Find your downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. First time we've landed here for more than one breath, and just pedal out the feet. Lift up and down on the toes, whatever you like to do. Spreading your fingers nice and wide, pressing into your thumb and index finger. Let's start to move. Extend that right leg up to the sky. Gaze between the hands, step it through, come into a warrior one. So this part will be a little bit like last week, so find that perfect warrior one, first one of the practice. Maybe you take your hands to your hips, squaring the hips forward and pressing into the knife edge of the back foot. Nice bend in that front knee, reach the arms up to the sky. And then tilt forward, coming into airplane arms forward. So tilting at the hips, chest towards the thigh. Exhale, reach the arms back, airplane back. Airplane forward. Cactus the arms, taking the elbows towards each other behind you. And extend forward, reach up into your warrior one. Bring your hands to your prayer, gaze over your left shoulder. And we're gonna come into our side lunge to the left. One of my favorites, I did this last week, you always see this. So I'll call it side lunge, but if you have your skandasana and you wanna come all the way down into your skandasana, whatever works for you. And just for this moment, this first one, just feel that stretch inside the hamstring, the adductors here. Then we're going to turn to the back of the mat, runner's lunge to the back. Both hands down. Right hand stays down, left hand up, coming into your twist. Hug those hips into the center line. Plant both hands, lift up into your high crescent lunge. So interlace the hands behind the head, thumb in the back of the neck. And we're gonna hold for 3 breaths here, just pressing the head into the hands, elbows wide, tuck the tailbone straight down as you take that back bend from the upper body. 2 more breaths. 1 more. Arms up to the sky. Open to your warrior two, still to the back of the mat. You're gonna be taking these half mandalas today, so most of the time I'm able to face you. All right, flip that palm, reach forward, getting a good bend in that front knee and come into your reverse. Back to your warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down, frame the foot, take your flow, either straight into downward facing dog or finding your chaturanga. Other side, left leg up to the sky. Step it through, come into your warrior one. Same little arm pattern, tilt forward into airplane. Airplane arms back. Forward. Cactus those arms open through the shoulders. Reach forward and lift into your warrior one. Releasing the shoulders down when you're in your warrior one, fingertips up, hands to prayer. Gaze to the right, come into your side lunge, bending into the right knee. And again, if it feels good to just come up and down, work through the hip flexor and the inner thigh. And then runner's lunge down, both hands down. Find your twist, left hand down, right hand up to the sky. Both hands frame the foot, lift into your high crescent lunge. Find that interlace with the opposite thumb on the bottom and press your head into your hands. Both arms up to the sky. Warrior two to the front of the mat. Pressing into the knife edge of the back foot. Front knee is going out towards the right front corner. Flip the palm, reach forward, come into your reverse. Back to warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down, frame the foot, step back into plank, and make your way to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, hop, step, or float your feet to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms and gaze up to the sky. Hands to heart center. All right, we're going to come into a chair pose, so go ahead. Our first chair for today. So sink your weight into your heels. And if it feels better for you to take your hands to prayer, go ahead and do that. I have really tight shoulders, so chair is so uncomfortable for me. All right, just rock back and forth into the toes and the heels, maybe sinking down a little bit deeper. We're going to come to a prayer twist. So take your hands to prayer. You're going to twist to the right. I'm going to twist towards you. So you're going to take the left elbow to the right knee and find your twist. So I want you to think here about pressing the hands into each other to get some leverage. Swiveling the lower ribs forward and your top shoulder back. So you're really stacking those shoulders. Exhale into your fold. Plant the hands, step back into plank, and either flow or make your way straight into downward facing dog. As always, lots of options to flow, so just take the ones you want. Right leg up to the sky. We're building on, step it through, come into your warrior one. Cactus the arms. Inhale up. Interlace the hands behind your seat. Hold the fists down towards the heel, heart forward. Open through the heart, shoulder blades come together in the back. Exhale into your humble warrior. Release back up into your warrior one. Hands to prayer. Gaze to the left, side lunge or skandasana into the left. We're going to add it to the right, so we're going to take it back to the front. Then we're going to take runners to the back of the mat. So maybe you walk your hands all the way to the back, frame that back foot. Come into the twist. Right hand stays down, left hand up to the sky. And then from here, we're going to come into our reverse skandasana, coming on the knife edges of both feet. Reach your top arm towards the back of the mat. You can lower and lift the hips if it feels good for you. You can stay static. Come back to your runner's lunge. Lift up into a high lunge. Open to warrior two. Feeling a little familiar, just adding on a piece at a time. Flip the palm, come into your reverse. And back to warrior two. Let's come into our extended side angle. So find your extended side angle that feels good for you. I want you to think about moving this elbow that perhaps is on your knee a bit forward. Go as far forward as you can, because we're thinking about finding length through both side bodies, the bottom and the top. So if I'm in here, I'm not lengthening through my bottom, but when I come forward, I find that length, right? And then energies from fingertips all the way through the knife edge of the back foot. Back to warrior two. Find your reverse. And then cartwheel the hands, frame the foot, step back into plank, and make your way to downward facing dog. Second side, left foot up to the sky. Step it through between the hands, warrior one. Cactus the arms. Inhale up. Interlace opposite thumb on top, pull the fist towards the back, heel, heart forward. Exhaling into your humble warrior. Gazing towards the back heel, hips pulling in towards that center line. And then come out the way you came in, taking that fist towards the heel, lifting yourself up, unbinding the arms, taking hands to prayer, gazing over your right shoulder, and side lunge or skandasana into the right leg and into the left leg. Runner's lunge to the front. High lunge twist, left hand down, right hand up. Coming into the reverse skandasana, knife edge of both feet, reaching the top arm towards the back of the mat. Lower and lift hips or find your static pose. Both arms frame the foot, press into your high lunge, and open to your warrior two. So we're facing the front of the mat. Flip the palm, come into your reverse. And into your extended side angle. We'll get here a couple of times more. So this is just our opening practice one where you are exploring, right? Using that bottom elbow to take the bottom ribs forward. Top shoulder back just a little bit without back bending, but opening up through sides. Back to warrior two, flip the palm reverse. And then cartwheel the hands down and frame the foot. Make your way to downward facing dog. And hop, step, or float your feet to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms and gaze up to the sky. Hands to heart center. Building on. Inhale, arms up, coming into your chair pose. All right, so working on those binds, we're going to come into the twist. And again, I'm going to twist towards you. Oh, I'm just realizing maybe we're not getting these on both sides. All right, right elbow. Now left elbow to right knee. All right, so I'm going to have to fix that. We didn't do it on this. This time when you're twisting, let's take the top arm up and behind the waistband. And then your bottom hand, take it to your heart. So again, you have this option here where your leverage, you have two leverage points to really spin the lower ribs forward and the top shoulder open. Release into your forward fold. We'll get that other side that I didn't do before. And then lift into your chair pose. Take your hands to prayer and twist to the other side. So again, with that twist, I want you to think about either staying just as you are or taking top arm behind the waistband and the bottom hand to your heart. And then pressing into that elbow into the knee so you spin the lower ribs forward and take the top shoulder. All right, release into your fold. Plant the hands, step back into a plank, and make your way to downward facing dog. Right leg up to the sky. Step it through, come into your warrior one. Interlace the hands, we'll go right into our humble warrior prep, heart opener. Come into the humble warrior. And lift back up into warrior one. We're going to shorten the stance, straighten that front leg. So we're going to prepare for pyramid. So our shoulders should be open quite a bit now. So you can either grab opposite elbows or come into reverse namaste for our pyramid. So I'm going to grab opposite elbows. I'm not very open in the shoulders as much as I'd like to be. All right, just find that length for a moment, reach the crown of the head tall, and then exhale. Come into a halfway lift. So reach the crown of the head towards the front of the room, front of your mat, and scissor those hips, making sure that front hip comes back, back hip comes forward so the hips are perfectly square. And then once you feel those hips click in, exhale all the way down to your pyramid. You can release the bind, you can take the hands down, and you can take that stance any length, any width that works for you. You can take a micro bend in that front knee. So intense leg stretch, working those hamstrings. Bend into the front leg, come into a standing split, lift your left leg up to the sky, making sure you're not dumping into the right hip, you're pressing up into the standing leg to lift up, finding your length. One more breath here, inhale, exhale. Bend through the knee, come back into your warrior one. And hands to prayer. Gaze to the left, Skandasana or side lunge to the left. And to the right. And runner's lunge to the back of the mat. And we're going to press right into a high crescent lunge this time. And come into a standing twist. Reach the left hand, right hand forward, left hand back. Inhale back up to high crescent lunge. One more time, right hand forward, left hand back. And so I want you now to reach that right hand all the way forward, get length, and come right into your high lunge prayer twist. Right, so I'm not facing you. So just come into that prayer twist. So you're still facing that way, I just wanted to face you. All right, so in this, you have the same options that we had with our chair. You can either stay like this, or you can take that top arm behind the waistband and bottom hand to the heart. If you have a full bind here, you can take the hands, marry them underneath the thigh. Should be open enough to do that if you have the flexibility in your shoulders. Whatever bind works for you, bind it, and then release back into your high crescent lunge. And open to warrior two. Flip the palm, reverse. Coming into your triangle. So straighten that front leg, shorten the stance if you like. Tilt all the way forward. Drop the hands down, tick-tock the arms. Again, think about lateral side stretches. We did all those lateral things at the beginning. It's finding that length through the side. So you want to reach that bottom hand as far forward as you can at any amount that works for you. Spinning your bottom ribs forward, but without coming into a back bend. We're stacking. We're opening, turning on the lats. Bend that front knee, come into your extended side angle. And let's come into a bind. Let's take that top arm behind, come into the thigh crease here. Spin the shoulders. Back to warrior two. We're going to tilt into our half moons. Remember, it's the journey. Doesn't matter if you have a block, doesn't matter if you fall. Start to bring your gaze a foot or two in front, maybe top hand to your top hip. Shift your weight into that front leg. And just find your half moon, flexing that back foot. Gaze coming towards the right, any amount that works, maybe all the way to the side. I always fall if I do that. And release into warrior two. Cartwheel hands down to frame the foot, step back into plank, and make your way to downward facing dog for the other side. Left leg up to the sky. Step it through, find your warrior one. Interlace the hands, opposite thumb on top, find your humble warrior preparation, heart opener. Come into your humble warrior. Inhale back up to warrior one. Shorten the stance, straighten the front leg. Find your arm position. If you took opposite elbows, you can do that again, switching the elbow grip, or maybe you're taking a reverse prayer. Whichever you choose, find that length through the spine, reaching crown of the head tall, and then come into your halfway lift. Scissoring the hips, just square them nicely towards the front of the room, or the back of the room. And then exhale, fold into your full pyramid, any amount that works for you. Maybe releasing the hands down to the block or mat. One more breath here, feeling the super intense stretch through your hamstrings. And then plant the hands bent through the front leg and kick up into your standing split. Pressing into the left leg to lift up. Maybe even come up on the toes, just a little, shift the weight to the toes. Just remind yourself not to dump into that leg. Right, bend the left leg, step back into your warrior one. Hands to prayer, glance to the right, side lunge to the right. Side lunge to the left. Almost done with this. And then runners to the front. Lift up into your high crescent lunge. Standing twist, left hand forward, right hand back. Inhale, both arms up. Twist again. Reach that left hand all the way forward to get length through the spine and come into the high lunge prayer twist. Just turning around to face you. And maybe you stay here. Maybe you take the top arm behind your back. Maybe you take the bottom arm to the heart. Maybe you find full bind. Just come into whatever is good for you. Release into your warrior two. Flip the palm, come into your reverse. And into triangle, straighten that front leg. Reach the front arm all the way forward, getting the length before you open up into your triangle, tick-tocking the arms. Finding length through both side bodies, spreading the fingers, reaching fingertips away from each other to open up, turning on the lats. Bend through that front leg, coming into your extended side. And take any bind that feels all right. Maybe half bind. Maybe full bind. You certainly open up enough. Back into warrior two. And then coming into half moon, shifting weight into that front foot. Just coming in, lifting up the back leg, flexing the back toes, finding that wingspan again, and bend through the standing leg to dismount into warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down to frame the foot, step back into plank, and lower down. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. All right. We're going to shift forward into plank. We're going to take a little break before we move forward. Release all the way down to the belly. All right, so if you have shoulder issues, then I want a little modification here. You're going to take your arms out, your right arm straight out to a T. So you can't see me too well. And then the left arm is going to be right underneath your shoulder, like this. We're coming into that, what I call arm pigeon. So arm out, right arm out to a T, left arm under your shoulder. Press into the left hand, roll onto your right side. So if you have shoulder issues, take that right arm straight up overhead, let your head cradle into it. But if you're taking the full on what I call arm pigeon, and you are feeling intense stretch on your right shoulder, right? And then you can bend your top leg and place your foot to the front or back of your bottom knee. So I have my left leg bent and the left foot is placed behind the right knee. So if you're in the full arm pigeon, you can take your top arm up to the sky, or you can drop it behind your waistband. Some people can marry the two hands. That's not in my range of motion. And then as you're ready, just release back onto your belly, arms out, airplane-wise, and just rock through the hips, through the shoulders for a minute. Maybe you take a wide cobra again, just release through the shoulder. And then prepare for the other side. You're going to take, if you're taking the full movement, you're going to take your left arm out to a T, right hand right underneath your right shoulder, press into the right hand to roll onto your left side. And again, if you have shoulder issues, the left hand can come straight up to the sky. And then you're going to go ahead and stack bend your top leg. Taking your right knee to the sky, the right foot behind the left knee. Breathe into that, feeling the opening through that left shoulder and the top arm. You can add that now if you want to bring that up to the sky and behind your waistband. Oh, I just can't believe it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, come onto your belly. We're gonna come into our puppy just for a second. Time's flying, but I'm going to press us forward to just finish that sequence that I had in mind so that we could get to a peak pose. All right, let's press back up into downward facing dog. I did this last week, didn't I? Where I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe the time. We go so much slower online, or I do. All right, bring from your downward facing dog. Gaze up to the front, walk your feet to the front of the mat. Forward fold, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms and gaze up to the sky, hands to heart center. Right. We're going to come into our chair pose. Left knee to the chest and take a half chair. Take the left ankle to the right knee and come into your half chair. Just find a little balance here for a moment. Allowing that left knee to open up. And then inhale, left knee to the chest, step back into your warrior one. Open to warrior two to the back. Flip the palm. Come right into your reverse, into your side angle. And so I'm going to cue us through a bind, 3/4 bind. You can take whatever bind you want. So taking that top arm behind you, you're going to take the left elbow in front of the left knee so you get that little traction going. Maybe you marry the arms. If not, you can just have the half bind. All right, so we're going to move into our peak. Sometimes I can get, sometimes I can't. We're going to come into a bound half moon. So bring your gaze to that front foot. Pop that back foot in just a little bit more, and then cast your weight into the front leg. Oops. Maybe you get it, maybe you don't. Whoa, today wasn't my day for it. Back into warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down to frame the foot. Finishing our mandala, half mandala. Gaze up to the front, hop, step, or step the feet to the front of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Arms and gaze up to the sky and sit down into chair. So final moves. Taking that right knee to the chest. Find your half chair, right ankle to the left knee. Sink down, weight into the back heel. Right knee comes towards the floor. Inhale, right knee to the chest. Step it back into your warrior one. Open warrior two, back to the original front of the mat. Flip the palm. Come into your extended side. And we'll take those bind options. You can do full bind, you can do half bind. So half bind is just taking that front elbow inside the knee. Maybe you marry the hands. And let's see if I do better on this side. Start to come into your bound half move. Oops. Not too much better. Step back into warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down. We are done standing. Whew. Exhale. Find your final chaturanga. Native downward facing dog. Gaze to the front, hop, step, or float the feet to the front of the mat, cross the ankles, and come on to your seat. All right. So how's that feel? All right, so I know we got some requests for forearms, so let's just deal with the wrists a little bit. Let's come into a straddle pose. Take your legs any width that works for you, bending the knees as you need. Let's bring the backs of your hands together. And just swivel them up, swivel them down. Maybe do your figure eights. Takes a little bit of coordination. Yeah. All right, and let's just come down into our straddle fold. So any amount, remember, tight hamstrings, bend the knees. I like to come with a nice flat back. And then find my fold. Well, if this is a pose that works for you, find release through your shoulders. And I gotta get better at this online timing thing. Sorry, I rushed us through at the end there. Press yourself back. Take one hand underneath each knee. Lift the knees and we'll come into a butterfly. Hands to the ankles and lift up, find length. And then begin to fold. Maybe you take your elbows to the knees to help open the knees a little. Maybe you just release down. I'm just going to release, bringing my forehead towards the feet. And let's press on up. One hand to each knee. Take the knees together. We'll just come into a boat. Just lift up into your version of boat, which can be feet on the floor, can be straight legs. I'm going to go for the intermediate with the bent knees. Heart forward, not dumping through the back, right? So then in this, just lift up through the heart. We'll take 3, 2, 1. Come back into butterfly. Soles of the feet together. Fold into your butterfly. And we're going to take that one more time. Roll up, hands to the knees, bring the knees together, lift up into your boat. For 3, 2, 1, getting off kind of easy on these boats. And then drop the feet to the mat, come into a nice tight ball, just round into the shoulder release here by just rounding through the upper shoulders, making everything just feel secure, calm. And we're going to come into a reverse table. So you can, soles of the feet together, hands planted behind you, fingertips facing your feet. And with your inhale, just lift your hips up to the sky. And maybe release the head towards the back of the mat. So keep lifting the hips up. Our shoulders should be nice and open so this isn't torquing the shoulders. We'll take 3 nice long breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Option to take lion's breath if it feels right for you. One more inhale. Breath in and then release down, coming back into that nice tight ball. And let's just roll all the way down onto our backs and come into a full body stretch here. Reaching the fingertips up towards the sky, feet in opposite direction. And then hug the right knee to the chest. Coming into our spinal twist, left hand to the outside of the right knee, take it all the way over to the left, open up, taking the right arm all the way to the right, and the left hand can stay stacking on top of the knee or out to a T. Gaze comes up or over towards the right shoulder. Hold for 5 nice long breaths here. One more breath. And then come back, right knee back to the chest, come into your full body stretch again, reaching in opposite directions, squaring up shoulders and hips. And then left knee to your chest. Come into your twist, right hand to the outside of the left knee, drag it all the way over to your right side. Left arm out to a T. Maybe you walk the right shoulder out towards the right just a little bit, bringing your gaze up to the sky or over to the left hand. 5 breaths here, 5 nice long ones. One more breath. And back to your full body stretch. Just come into any last moves that you want before our final rest. For me, it's always a happy baby. Soles of the feet to the sky. You can either take your hands to the knife edges of the feet or the ankles or even the calves. Maybe elbows inside the knees as you pull the knees towards the armpits. Maybe even press the knees open to get a little bit more opening through the hips. Whichever you choose, release the tailbone down towards the mat so you're getting a full spinal lengthening. Maybe rocking side to side. Take, as I said, any final moves, maybe legs straight up, or maybe you are ready for your final rest. So whatever you choose, we didn't come into an inversion. If you'd like to do your shoulder stand or legs up the wall, we just want to come into Shavasana. It's your choice. And as you did for last week as you make your way into your final rest. I'll just give you time to just be. I know some of you have extra time right now, and some of you are still expected to be doing your job. And whichever situation you're in, there's probably a combination of times of relief and times of stress. And so I appreciate you coming to the mat, because for me, those times of stress can be deep, but I always feel better after I take the time to just be. So as you come into this final rest, really shift from, if you haven't already, from thinking to just being. From action to awareness. I heard something the other day that made so much sense. You know, runners, distance runners, they're running, but they always take that last, whatever, half mile at a nice slow pace. Same thing for swimmers. Whatever it is that we're doing, we go, and get up into our peak cardio or our peak form. But then we have to give the body a chance to just let go. And for our yoga practice, this is it, our Shavasana. Finding calmness, equanimity, peace, and the art of just being. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Noticing the rise and the fall of the belly. Starting to bring some attention to the fingers and toes, circling fingers, toes, ankles and wrists. Bringing gentle movements to the head, rocking the head side to side. Coming into that full body stretch again, reaching arms and legs up to the sky. No, arms and legs in opposite direction. And then hugging your knees to your chest, taking some gentle rocks side to side. Rolling onto your favorite side. Taking a cycle of breath in this nice fetal position. And then pressing into the top hand, taking your time, bringing yourself to a seated position, hands to heart center. And once you're there, let's just close with one cleansing breath together. Inhale through the nose, growing tall through that spine, pausing at the top of the breath. Open mouth, let it go. Thank you for joining me on the mat today. May the peace and calm you found in this past hour carry you through your day and through your week. Namaste. Let's see. All right, everybody, how do you feel? Hopefully good.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. See you next week on the mat. Bye, Michelle. Bye, Natasha. Bye-bye.